Hey gems, welcome back to the nest. I'm Ali and I'm excited you're here with me. Today we are decorating around the Island Museum under the control of Blathers and Brewster who work for Nookcorp. This museum is not for public use. While we build, let's learn a bit more about the Hollynet Museum and why it is no longer accessible to the general public. Tucked behind Nook's cranny, hidden from the main road by tall fencing and razor wire, stands what was once a public museum. It used to be a place where residents could learn about the island's natural beauty, its fossils and its art. Now, however, it's a corporate archive sealed off by Nookcorp. Only executives, scientists and authorised personnel are allowed inside. The rest of the population can glimpse it through the fencing, a glowing monument to everything they've lost. The building hums faintly with power at night. No one knows what's really being kept inside anymore. Preserved history or something more dangerous. Officially, Nookcorp calls it the Preservation Factory, a storehouse of knowledge and culture kept safe for future generations. In truth, it's a vault of control. The company hoards what it can't exploit: art, archaeology, biology, even memory. Some say the museum holds the last genuine relics of the pre-corporate world. Untouched nature samples, archives, old photographs, sealed away where the public can't see them. Others whisper that Cobb used its basement laboratories before Petrie's exile, and that parts of his early Android prototypes, or failed ones, still lie beneath the museum floors. The museum represents the death of curiosity, how Nookcorp turned learning into possession. It stands as a shrine to the past, but no one is actually allowed to remember it. So I think this build was probably one of the clearer ones that I had in my mind in terms of how I wanted this all to look. Like, I didn't necessarily want it to be abandoned in the way that the port and spikes area is, generally speaking, an abandoned space. But I did want it to be very clear that the public, the general population of the island, are just not allowed here. So I wanted it to have that mix between elitism and like get out kind of vibes, if that makes sense. So I knew that a lot of like the fence and jail bar items and all of that sort of stuff, a lot of the corrugated fencing and things needed to go in here. I really wanted to use more of like the gear apparatus and the meter and pipes and that sort of stuff. I have been really enjoying using those items on this island. And then at the same time, I needed to make it clear that, you know, the rebels of our island have at least, you know, shown their displeasure, which is why, like, you saw the graffiti simple panel that I went to place just before. I will put that in a different spot, but I really wanted to make sure that I had some graffiti sort of stuff around as well, just to like make that connection quite clear that, you know, the people of this island know that they're not allowed here, and, you know, they have something to say about it. They're not just quietly accepting that that is the way that things are on the island. And then in terms of everything else that I put around here, like, I really wanted to have some of the art items, like the statues in particular, around the place, just to sort of give that vibe of, we know that you the public, we know that you want to look at these things, but you absolutely may not. But you can glimpse them through the fencing, through the, you know, the barbed wire and all of that sort of stuff. Like, I wanted it to be really clear that Nookcorp is like taunting the public as well, if you know what I mean. Let me know in the comments if that came through, if that makes sense for you guys. Looking at this build, like when it's finished and all of that sort of stuff, like does it make sense that, you know, Nookcorp as a controlling body is not just hiding everything away and, you know, potentially gatekeeping secrets and, you know, old unused labs and all of that sort of stuff, but it's also taunting the general public with the fact of, yes, this is the sort of thing that we have inside, but you're not allowed to look at it, you know? So that was the overall vibe that we were going for here. And then also, you know, having lots of like floodlighting, I guess is the way that I would phrase it. Like I wanted to make sure that there were like bright white lights around the museum as well, to just sort of showcase that, you know, we are watching, and the we is Nookcorp, right? It is Tom Nook and Dizzy Izzy, his PR executive, that are watching, you know. And so I wanted that to be hopefully clear, with all of the like the bright white lighting in particular, with the stadium lights that I will put up in just a second. Yes. And then I put some stage lights down later as well, in the front, just to sort of reiterate that vibe of like we're watching you. We have this place, you know, on lock, and you can't just, you know, come up in here and, you know, do whatever they think the rebels are going to do, deface the artwork or whatever it is, or discover their secrets and things like that. And the struggle of trying to pull something and push something into the spot that you want it continues. I also, on a side note, I have no plans for a rock garden on this island. I really don't think that it would make sense or fit the aesthetic that we've got going on here. So I'm just sort of deleting the rocks as I see them, and then if they happen to show up somewhere later that isn't going to be in the way, then they can stay, but they will probably all be gone for the dream address for this one. I do end up blocking off all the rest of this back end section as well, which if you have seen the walk and talk sort of mini tour video, you'll see that this is all actually filled in now. But I did sort of realise after I had finished this build that I didn't want any of that back section to be accessible, and I wanted to make that very clear so that, you know, for anyone visiting the dream address, you know, wouldn't be confused and then get stuck or anything like that. So I did end up completely blocking off the back section behind there, and especially because as well, like all the built up stuff behind resident services really doesn't lend itself to having, you know, more decorations or a walkable path and all of that sort of stuff behind it. So it just made sense to make all of that completely inaccessible. But yeah, so the graffiti panels that we've got up here now, this is what I'm talking about. So I wanted it to also be clear that, you know, our rebels of Hollynet are well aware that they are specifically not allowed to, you know, be in or near the museum, and, you know, they've got things to say about it. So they are defacing Nookcorp's property as part of their rebellion against corporate greed, control, whatever you want to describe it as. But yeah, so hopefully that makes sense for you guys watching. Hopefully that makes sense that that's what we're doing here. It's not that Nookcorp is defacing their own property. You know, that would just be silly. But yeah, it is more that, you know, Eugene and his gang are very much aware of what Nookcorp are doing, and, you know, they do their best in whatever ways that they can to, it's just their way of doing like small acts of contrition, I guess. I'm just trying to find different ways to say rebellious so that I'm not saying rebel 1,000 times throughout these videos. And I'm realizing that while I do feel like I have a wide vocabulary, apparently in the moment I can't think of too many different ways to say rebel and rebellion, but that's okay. So where we're at now, I'm just trying my best to fill in all the different little nooks and crannies that we have going on here with various bits of junk and, you know, uninviting sort of items, as well as our last bit of fencing, because you absolutely cannot get through to the museum now, and I keep forgetting about that every time that I have something that I instinctively think to myself, oh, this would, you know, this should go to the museum kind of thing, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I've blocked off the museum so I can't actually use it anymore. Which is unusual for me, because even when I do you know, these islands where it's just aesthetics, you know, and I'm just like decorating to a theme and all of that sort of stuff, I do actually do, you know, dailies every now and then, and I donate the new stuff that I have to Blathers, and so it's weird for me to not actually be able to do that. Like, I just physically can't do it, and there's no way that I am going to be bothered you know, moving any of this stuff just to get to the museum. Like, it's just really not worth the energy, you know. So I've just accepted my fate, and you know, we're just living with it day by day, and that's okay. We're just focusing. We're focusing on the builds, and we're probably about half done with this island now, considering, like, obviously I recorded this build before I did Spike's area. So after Spike's area, we're probably half, if not just over half done with decorating this island. So that's pretty exciting, because I do want to have this island finished and then a new one at least at 3 stars by the time the 3.0 update comes in January, which I think is achievable. I'd love to hear from you guys what you are most excited for in the 3.0 update. I think we're all excited for the bulk crafting, and like, I can't tell you why I spent a good 60 seconds deciding whether or not to place that round streetlight, but clearly that was a hard choice. But yeah, what are you guys most excited for in the 3.0 update? Is anyone excited about the hotel? Because I think it will actually be like cuter than some people are giving it credit for, in my mind. I'm excited for it. Okay, you guys, I think we will leave it there for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, go and give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing and joining the Discord so you don't miss any future content. I would very much appreciate it. I hope you are all having the best day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!